All right, so in this first episode, we're going to focus on how to create a new empty repository using the GitHub client. So the first thing that we need to do is open up our GitHub Desktop client. For me, that's down here on my dock, although if you haven't added it to your dock, then it's probably inside your applications folder, or if you're on Windows, it will be accessible through your Windows Start menu. In any case, uh, once you open up the client, a window like this should open. You might need to click a little bit to get here, but you can create a new repository from the File menu by clicking on New Repository, or Option N, or on Windows there's another key combination, or you can just click this Add button here. And when you click Add, Create New Repository, the New Repository dialog comes up. One of the things that we need is a name. So I'm just going to give mine a memorable, meaningful name. We'll call it my underscore fixed because this has to do with the broken page. So I'm calling it fixed. You can name yours whatever you'd like as long as there are no space characters and as long as it's all lowercase. And it's really important that it's all lowercase and that there are no spaces. That's necessary. In fact, it's good practice to make sure that you're naming all of your files and folders in lowercase only with no spaces. All right, we'll call this my fixed. I don't need a description, but I do need to make sure that the path is pointing to the correct location. Right now, this is pointing to my desktop, which is where I want it to be. Typically, I save my repositories inside my documents folder, inside a folder called repos, and this has all my Git repos in it. But for the purposes of this tutorial, I want my repository to appear on my desktop, so I've pointed it to my desktop. By using this choose button, you can point it to wherever you want it to go. So I'm creating a repository called myFixed on my desktop. Normally I would initialize it with a README, but I'm going to be importing a README, so I'll leave that unchecked. Normally I would use a git ignore and a license, but for the purposes of this project, we don't need those things. So I'm just going to click Create Repository, and you can see now that this folder has been created in my desktop, which is where I told it to be, and it's called my underscore fixed, and right now there's nothing in it. Although, if your operating system is configured to view hidden files, you will see that there are some hidden files. These are called dot files inside this folder. But we don't need to worry about those. They're hidden for a very good reason. And so I've got my empty repository. When I go back to my client, this Publish Repository button has been highlighted. You can see up here it says Publish Repository. Publish this repository to GitHub. So if I click this button, this will be added as one of my repositories on github.com/my profile name. In order for this to happen, I have to be logged in, and you can see my little profile picture here. But once I've been logged in, all I have to do is click Publish, and this Publish Repository dialog comes up. I want to make sure I'm on github.com. I'm going to leave the name the same, and I still don't need a description, but I do need to uncheck this private dialog. If this is checked, then this repository that I've created will only be accessible to me. And if I want other people to view it, they won't be able to unless I open it up for them. The best thing to do for all of our repositories, this one and all the ones we make this semester, is to make sure that you uncheck that box. And if you don't, it's going to cause some problems later on. So make sure to uncheck keep this code private, and then you can just click the Publish Repository, and we've got our syncing sign, and now it has been published. I can open this in Visual Studio Code, which is my external editor. I configured that inside Preferences. I can view it in Finder, which I've already done. I've got it open right here. In Windows, that would be View in Explorer or File Explorer or something like that. or I can open the repository page on GitHub in my browser. If I click on this button, you can see it takes me to my GitHub page, and this particular repository is a new public repository. Now, right now there's nothing in it, but that's because I haven't added anything yet. All right, so this is what we've done here in this video is created a new repository. In the next video, we're going to download code from an existing repository and move it into this one.